I think back to something that Jason Tebow, who's the executive director of the Streaming Video Technology Alliance, said years ago at a streaming media conference. He reminded us that when video is streaming, it's just data, but everything up until that point, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, wasn't just data. Now it is, or it's getting closer there, right? You talk about broadcast engineers are becoming developers. What role does data play in decisions about cloud workflows? Where does that data come from, and what does that data tell us? Michael, can we start with you on that?
I guess I have a couple different ways of looking at that. One is that I think there's a principle which holds pretty true with cloud called data gravity, and that idea is that if you have a large amount of data, it's probably easier to locate your compute and other resources close to that data. Then it's going to attract them rather than move that data around a network, right? And so I think where we have situations where content is originating in the cloud or it's egressing from the cloud, or maybe both, those are obvious places where we're starting to look and say, well, maybe instead of bringing that information back down to an on-prem environment, maybe it's better to just leave it in the cloud, right? And that way we can kind of cluster the networking, the compute, along with the storage that's in the cloud. And, it saves a lot of, wasted movement of material. So I think that's one way to look at it. I think the other way to look at it, is the way that we can, I guess, instrument and measure things differently in the cloud. Like when my cloud security dashboard just works because it's in the cloud. The cloud infrastructure describes itself to me, and the scale of usage is there. All of my configuration is there, and it's presented to me in a data dashboard. And that whole process is very, very time consuming to try to get data on my on-prem utilization and security status and all that other kind of stuff. We have to put a lot of systems in place for that. So I think the fact that you might want to co-locate your compute and network with your data can drive you towards a cloud-oriented solution or away from it. But also the fact that there is such a proliferation of data about your cloud environment helps you to be a lot more efficient, I think, than you could be in a similar on-prem environment.
And to Michael, to your point, like it doesn't make sense to move petabytes worth of data back to the ground just to analyze it there. You might as well do it in cloud, and that could be any data that's coming from your clients that are used to consume your video programming and your content, to improve quality of service, find metrics about where in the world the majority of people are coming from, where are your hot regions versus cold regions. You can analyze to improve your service from a streaming perspective, like figure out like, hey, I'm dark in these particular areas, or I'm not seeing very good performance in these particular areas. Now it gives me as a business the opportunity to go out and solve those problems in a more strategic way, if you will. And again, that helps focus the dollars because we're displacing it from some of the CapEx. So we're still spending it, it's just moving to different buckets. But a lot of the data analytics is what cloud is really good at, right? To Michael's point, I have a whole dashboard full of stuff. So my InfoSec guys and my other IT, DevOps personnel has a one kind of look and feel of the entire environment without having to bounce into different systems like we have kind of on the ground today, whether it was SolarWinds or other type of dashboards that do health telemetry across my environment. And I'm going to inherently miss certain elements of my infrastructure on ground just because I never thought about it. In the cloud, it's all pretty much plumbed up. When you fire up an AMI off of a machine image to build compute, it comes dialed in with all those hooks and ladders. So I can do my business analytics, I can do performance improvement on my service itself, and I can find out more information about my customers to make a better quality experience for them.
We look at it the same way that Corey just explained from a vendor standpoint. We use the data to look at health, to spin up instances or spin them down to be cost effective. Know where it's hot, know where it's cold, as you guys mentioned. And then, again, we're, part of the ways that we make money is we move data, but we agree with you, only move what's necessary, right? Because it's just, it doesn't make sense. Why would you, especially with the egress costs, if you don't need to move it, On-prem, don't do it. Or, you only move what you need. So I think the data is really important it's part of the analytics. I think it's really important whether you're providing a service or you're providing a product as a service. I think it's really important, and the cloud gives you the ability to get that.